Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Posh Picnic Crafts with me. Today is National Picnic Week, apparently. So if you're going to go out for a picnic, you could jazz it up a little bit with a few nice little extras. I am just trying to get you up so I can see your comments, and looks like I can. Okay, so what we're going to make today are just a few little things that you can make quite easily if you're having a family picnic, something for a special occasion that you can just jazz it up a little bit with. So the first thing we're going to make is the picnic utensil holder. In here you can see you've got your I don't normally use plastic, by the way. I just had these left after from somebody's party. So I've got my picnic knives and forks and spoons, and it's got a little serviette in there as well. And that's very simply made by folding double-sided paper. So you would give in the instructions I said double-sided paper, and I gave a template as well. I've slightly modified the template because I'm using card. I only had double-sided card, and it was quite difficult to fold the card into the same shape because the paper's obviously thinner and more pliable. So I'm going to show you this one, and there is also the guide that you downloaded. So the second thing I'm going to make is a decorated drinks bottle. So this is my drinks bottle. It's glass. It's just some that I had in the house. This is my reusable straw that I take everywhere with me. So these are just very simply decorated with some patterned washi tape, just to make a few sort of lines along your glass. This will work just as well on plastic as glass. So if you have a plastic drinks bottle, you want to just jazz up a little bit. And on the top is like a little, almost like a little coolie hat. And the idea with that is, if I can take it off, I can show you it that way. Oops. It doesn't, you can push your straw through these bits, and it sits on your drink, and it stops anything going in your drink, like wasps, for instance. So that's a nice idea as well. That's particularly if you're outside. And the final thing, also again on an insect theme, but not in the way it looks. This is just a tumbler, a glass tumbler that I've decorated again with the washi tape, and I've made a little washi tape bunting around the top. And in there is a excuse me, a citronella candle, which will keep the bugs away. So they're just a few little things. Obviously, you don't have to put citronella in, you can put anything in it, but particularly if you carry on sitting at your picnic for any length of time, that's a nice idea. So those are what we're going to make, and here is what we're going to need. So we will need double-sided tape, various different patterns of washi tape. If you don't have washi tape, you can always use ribbon and use glue to stick it on with. Obviously my utensils and my serviette that are going to go in my little pouch. I've got a pencil, craft knife, and if you've got one of these, a compass. If you haven't, find something that's about 4 inches in diameter, that isn't it, side to side on a circle to draw around. So we'll get, and of course your double-sided paper or card. This is mine. It's got that lovely sort of tropical pattern on that side and stripes on that side. So I'm going to put this on the I don't know about them. I'll think about it. So starting with we'll start with the utensils pouch. So I'm going to try and pop the camera down so you can see me, if I can make this tripod work. Now, let me just push you back a bit. I've got this new bendy tripod, and so because I can fasten it to my desk, but I don't think it's quite as good as my old tripod. I just have to keep adjusting it a little bit so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Right, so it's a bit big, this, for you to see it all, but what we want to do is cut our card, the pattern the right way up. For me, that's the right way up for the pattern. We're going to cut it into a 21 centimetre square. So I've got my trusty magnetic ruler here, and I'm going to measure along the top. This isn't going to work very well, I don't think, this camera. Sorry about this, just bear with me a second. That's better, you can see a bit more now. So I'm going to measure 21 centimetres, sorry, across there, and just make a little mark with my pencil. And then I'm going to measure down there, 21 centimeters. Mine is a 12 by 12 inch square. Now my cutting mat that it's resting on is also 12 by 12 inch. So it's magnetic, so it's nice to use. I can measure quite accurately with mine just by using the markings on the outside. So that's 21 there. So I'm going to draw. I'm not going to draw. Can't see where I've made my pencil mark. I think it's there. I'm going to line it up on my cutting mat, and then I'm going to cut it with a craft knife. Like that. You can use scissors. You could just draw a line and use scissors, but I quite like the craft knife because I can get a good straight edge on it. I'm not very good with scissors. So that is, you don't need that piece. And now we're going to cut this. Just going to double check that because it doesn't look like it's going to be square. Yeah, cut a bit short. Never mind. I will make mine square. 19 inches square. That's because I couldn't see the mark. And then I'm just going to cut that along that mark. I'm just going to say hello to Irene and Rosemary, who regularly watch. So mine is a little tiny bit smaller, so it is going to be a tiny bit smaller. And I can't decide which way around to do it now. Might do the stripes on the outside. So, in the original template I downloaded for the paper, hi Donna, it was a 4-folded piece. But as I said before, I found with the card that this card is more difficult to fold. I found it was I needed it to only be in thirds. So we're just going to mark this into thirds now, which would have been, if I'd done it 21 centimeters, would have been 7 centimeters each. So I'm going to make it 6 for me, but you want to, if you've cut it for 21, 6 and 12, like that. Okay, so it's divided into thirds. Now, if you're using paper, at this point, you would just fold it along at your points. However, as I'm using card, I'm going to just score mine because that will just help me make it easier to fold. Scoring, if you're not familiar, is you just do a light cut through, so it doesn't go all the way through. It just cuts the top surface of the card, and it just makes it easier to fold. So that's my first fold. And I'm going to score the card everywhere I'm going to fold it. And the second fold, second score. So, and then I'm just going to fold it along those lines so that I can see it. So we're folding it into thirds. And you basically want it so that it will fold over like that into a pocket. Okay. To make the edges, the bit where you can see your top of your cutlery, I'm going to do a score across the corner on the outside third, just so that we can then fold that down. So we're going to fold that down. Not very, I've actually gone through it a bit too much probably there. Never mind, I shall be more careful with the next third. And we score it from the top where we scored, and just gently score it up along the corner so that we can then fold that corner in. That's a bit better, that's straighter. Okay, so that's all our folding and scoring done. So we're going to stick it now with a bit of tape. So I'm using double-sided tape. First thing I'm going to stick down is these 2 corner pieces, and to do that I'm going to put some that way along the score, using old scissors to cut double-sided tape with because it gets them very gluey. And then I'm going to cut a smaller piece, about that much, to go there. to hold the corner down. So I'm just going to peel this off. Just peel the backing off. I've got quite good at this now. I used to be a bit rubbish, but my nails are a little bit long. That's that one. And then we're just going to press that down like that. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm just going to put a piece along that score. It just helps hold it better. Cut that. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm conscious I keep putting my hands in front of myself. This one doesn't want to come off. There we go. Sometimes you can use a craft knife just to ease the end up. Heather's asking why don't I use glue? The reason I'm not using glue, Heather, is because if it's a wet glue, it has to dry before you can do anything. You can use glue if you've got the time to let it dry, but obviously when I'm online with you, I want it to be instant. So that's why I'm using double-sided tape instead of glue. Hot glue would be instant as well, but it's bulky. It can be a bit bulky and you want it flat. This is not happening, but there we go. No, it doesn't matter that I've cut through that too much because it's just going to stick nicely there. So all we do then is fold it over again, like we did earlier when we were checking the folds. We're going to fold it over like that, and that is basically it. We just need to glue down these sides now. Glue down or sticky tape down. So I'm going to use sticky tape. So I'm going to put a piece there. I always use old scissors for my sticky tape because they do make a mess of scissors. Sticky tape does. So that's going to stick that way. So I want to put one there to stick the other way. Sometimes when you fold it, if your folds aren't quite accurate, you will get a little bit of overhang, but don't worry about that because it's quite easy to solve. Now I'm also going to put a bit right across the bottom because we want to seal the bottom up. I don't want it to stick over the tape, otherwise I'll not get the backing off that tape. You want it, you don't want your cutlery to fall out the bottom, so that's why we're putting this bit on the bottom. That's gone on a bit wonky. So we had a picnic for the Jubilee, but we had to do it inside because it rained. But it was a picnic, so I made some of these for that, and it was quite nice to have something, but I made them in red and white and blue. We've got lovely sunshine today, I have to say. We've had a lovely weekend. My son is getting married in 2 weeks. So this weekend was the hen party. And because I'm very crafty and my daughter-in-law to be is very crafty, we had a craft and tea on Saturday. And we made some jewellery and we made some pamper products. We made soaps and bath salts, lip balms. Lovely. And then we had an afternoon tea as well. Right, I'm talking too much and not concentrating on getting this off. I'm going to use the craft knife. See, just craft knives are wonderful. You can do all sorts of things with them. Right, so I'm going to press that over so that when that seals at the bottom, and then press that down. See, it's very, very simple, but very, very effective. Now, I did find that was coming open a bit, so I'm just going to give that a bit more of a press. So when you want to put your forks in, we just give it a bit of a squidge along the seams. Oops. And hopefully it will open out a little bit. And just go like that. So then we get our napkin. I've got these nice flamingo ones. And I'm going to fold that up neatly. Pop that in there. So see, if you just squeeze the end, it just goes in a bit easier. So that's my napkin. So you would do one of these for everybody who's coming to the picnic. So my knife and fork and spoon. Knife, fork and spoon. As I say, I would normally use bamboo, not plastic, but these were left over from somebody else's party. So I said, oh, yes, I can use them. I end up with all sorts of leftover things in my house. So that's nice. So you could make one of these for everybody and give them as they arrive at the picnic. So I think that's quite nice. And I particularly like this stripy. So that was the cutlery holder. So now we'll move on to the drinks bottle with the little cap to keep the flies out. I've got a blank bottle here. As I say, mine are glass because I have these. I don't know where I picked them up at. They do have metal lids on, so I could just decorate the lid, but I like to show you how to make the little cap. So that's my bottle. This is my washi tape. So I would say to you, try and match the colours of your washi tape to the colour of the card that you're using. So I think I'm going to use this card because it's got the pink from that washi tape and it's got the turquoise from that washi tape. This one's got leaves on it, so that would go with anything, and that's got pink and green, so that will go as well. So this is the one I'm going to use for my other glass, my candle holders. I'm not going to use that one just now. I'm going to use these two because they match my card. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is draw our circle. And our circle wants to be 4 inches in diameter. So if you're using something to draw around, for instance, that is neat. That's I was a bit toilet roll mop up spills. That's nearly a 4-inch diameter. But because I'm using a compass, I can open it up to be. Sorry, you couldn't see me do that. I'm measuring. My squares on here are inches, so I've opened that up to 2 inches, and that should give me a 4-inch diameter square. So I'm going to, because I don't like to waste, I'm going to start drawing that. I'm just going to check it'll go all the way. It won't go over the edge. So I'm going to go all the way around. Now, we make like a cone out of this, like a coolie hat. So we just need to carry on drawing. And then we want to make another circle in the centre. Should have drawn it on the other side, but never mind. That is 1 inch. It's 2 inches. So your compasses want to be 1 inch apart. And you just go into the same hole in the centre. And you draw another hole, another circle. So it's a bit like a donut, like a CD or almost. In fact, you could probably draw around a CD if you still have one. Oops, mine keeps moving. Anyway, I can cut that. So I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to use different scissors for card because those little blue ones won't work. They won't cut it if you're having fun. So I'm going to cut out my circle. I'm not very good at cutting out. Never have been. And you might find your circle's not quite perfect unless you've drawn around an object. I always find mine can sometimes be a bit slightly oval shaped, which is not good. Right, so I'm just going to put that card to one side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly score all around my inner circle because I'm going to fold those bits down. So I want to lightly score them. Not all the way through, but just enough so that they will fold easier. If you're using paper, you won't have to do this. In fact, after I've shown you how to do it this way, I'm going to show you a cheats way of doing it that is quite simple, that you could get children doing or anything. So then from the middle, I'm going to score all the way down, all the way through, cut through, sorry, not score, cut all the way down to the edge of the circle. That's how we're going to make the cone shape. And then from the middle of the circle to the scored line, I'm going to do 5 more scores. So it divides it into 6 pieces. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 cuts will make 6 wedges, if you like, that we're then going to fold in. So there's my score. So you can see these now move, except that one doesn't. Let me just go over that one again. I've got nails, but I can't pick things up with them. So what we're going to do is bend this into our coolie hat shape. And we'll check it on our bottle because we want it to sit nicely on the bottle and not fall off. So I'm getting a little bit of overlap here, which I will just trim. So once I've decided where it's going to sit and make the shape I want it to make, I will then put some tape on that on one side of here, and then we can stick it. So I shall just put a bit of tape, just that, just about there. Peel off the backing. Hello, Susanna. I'm not sure what these bottles are. When I got them, I got 6 in a little carrier thing. And they look like the sort of milk bottles you used to get at school, if you remember school. If you're old enough to remember school milk, which I am. Right, I'm going to get my craft knife on this. There we go. So fold it round again, this time to where you want it to be, and press down hard to seal it, like that. Now you can see I've got a bit of overlap because my circle wasn't perfect, so I'm just going to trim that bit off. So get rid of those. And now this bit, we're going to fold it down until it's flat. So you do that by pushing it slightly, and it will go down. Some of the wedges will have overlapped, but where you scored your line, they should just go down. So that creates the place where you're going to put your straw. So that's my straw. Might just, because we've overlapped, this wedge doesn't actually need to be on there, and because it's kind of slightly gone through, I'm going to just tear that off. There we go. And so you put your straw through like that. So that will then sit neatly on the top of your drinks bottle and stop any insects going in it while you're not looking. So that's the first part of this bottle makeover. And the second part is we're going to decorate it with some strips of washi tape. I think I might use this one as well. Now, washi tape it's originally Japanese. It's a paper sticky tape with a design printed on it, and it's so easy to use if you want to decorate something. I'm looking for bottles have like a seam on, and that's where I want to start, so I can kind of try and get it evenly on. You could also use hot glue and a ribbon if you didn't have washi tape. You just carefully, as you go, trying to keep it even. Mine's gone a little bit offline there. I'm trying to keep it even with the bottom of the bottle, turning as I go, and then smoothing it so I don't get any wrinkles. You can buy washi tape at most craft stores, and they usually come in a pack of several toning ones. I think I've actually got these at Wilkinson's in the stationery department. I like Wilkinson's for stationery. And there was matching pens and all sorts of things. So not only could you use this design on, as we're doing today, which is on our candle holder and on this drinks bottle, you can also use your washi tape to decorate jars for candles. You can put it around a vase. It's very, very versatile. It is not washable. Despite it being called washi tape, it's not washable. So I wouldn't use it on anything that needs washing. So I'm going to put another stripe of this other colour, and I'm trying to line it up so that it's got the same amount of distance from the previous piece of tape. Just turning and stretching and sticking. And then when it comes to the join, it should overlap exactly. Ooh, I've done that. That's not very good. I'm not very accurate with this, so I'm quite pleased I've got that. And then I'm going to do the final one. I'm going to do some of this pink one. It's got leaf patterns on it. It helps if your end that you're starting with is absolutely straight and not wedge shaped like mine was. And then we put that tape on there, and again, using the previous stripe as a guide, we're going to try and get it very accurately, reasonably accurately, straight. It's probably a good idea as well if you keep your overlaps of your washi at the same place. I've gone slightly offline with this one. So as it's paper, it's stuck to my scissors. As it's a paper tape, it cuts quite easily as well. And you could tear it, but you'd get a raggy end if you tear. So there we go. That's our decorated bottle with washi tape. I'm really pleased with that. My little coolie hat. Can't get it quite in the camera, all of it, but my little coolie hat sits on top with my straw. That's my reusable metal straw. You could just use an ordinary paper straw if you wanted to, but not plastic. This could be done with any drinks bottle, as long as it's clear. Well, it doesn't even have to really be clear. It's just a nice way to pattern things. Right, so that's 2 out of 3. How are we doing? A half an hour, we're okay for time. So I'm going to show you the little Citronella tea light holder. It's very similar in that I've used washi tape in the same way, but I've also used it to make this nice little bunting effect around the top, which is a little bit fiddly, but we'll have a go. So I need another glass. The only other glass tumbler I could find is this one, which has, if you can see, it's kind of got slopey sides, but it should be fine. So I'm going to start with, I think I'll go with the white tape with the leaves on again. And it might be slightly trickier to wrap around because of the sloping sides, but I'm going to line this up with the base of the glass. You don't have to use a glass. You could use a jar. You could use any kind of candle holder that you've got. And then I'm just going to go all the way around with this. This is proving quite difficult. This is going to wrinkle a little bit because my glass isn't completely straight up the sides. So I'm just going to have to put up with that. The other nice thing about the washi tape, because it's slightly translucent, see, I'm getting a bit of wrinkles, but it wouldn't if it's straight-sided. Because it's slightly translucent, when you light the candle inside it, it does look, it glows through and looks really nice. I am going to use this stripy one to make my bunting. So I might put a stripe of this narrower tape, because that won't wrinkle as much because of the slopey side. So again, like before, I'm going to follow the previous tape, and to make sure the one I'm doing is fairly straight, I'm going to try and leave the same amount of gap between the two pieces of tape, and that's my overlap there. Okay, so I'm just going to snip that. Right. So there, I have got a little bit of creasing again because of the shape of my glass, but it's quite nice. So that's the first part of the deck. That's the easy bit of decoration. Right, the next bit is our bunting. And as I said to you before, I'm going to use this striped tape. Now, the easiest way I found to cut little triangles out of this tape is to stick it on here and cut it with a knife. So you need, my glass has got 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 20 little triangles. And this glass is about the same diameter. I'm not going to do all 20 now, but I'm going to show you the technique because it will take quite a bit of time to do 20. So what I did was I stuck it on my board. It's really handy having a cutting board. It's got these markings as well. So I use these 1/2 inch markings to help me do my triangles. So what I did was in each 1/2 inch, I'm going to do one bunting triangle. So I'm going to cut it from the top there to the 1/2 inch mark. That is kind of halfway, the 1/4 inch, if you like. And then, oops, this kept happening, but if you hold it with your finger, you can cut it. So that's excess. That is one bunting triangle. Tiny, tiny. And then you just stick it along the top of your glass, up next to the rim. So the next one you do by cutting, again, you're going 1/4 inch, you're going to go down like that, and then you just keep doing your triangles. If you're doing them with scissors, you're going to have to, they probably won't be as accurate because you've not got the measures, but you probably won't do that with it either. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So I'm just going to stick these 4 on to show you. You can, I've just stuck mine straight round, but you can do like a pattern so they sort of swag in. In fact, we'll try that, should we? As if they were dangling on a piece of string. So if I take that one and put it at a slight angle, and then the next one, trying to keep all the white bits at the top of the tape together. Next one like that. And then the final one, I will put going back up to the edge of the glass so it looks like swag like that. And there's another one. And I'll just keep doing that all the way around. I'm not going to do it all the way around while you're watching because that would be incredibly boring. The nice thing about alternating the way you cut the triangles on this tape is that the colours are alternating. The blue and the green are alternating, which is quite nice. I'll just cut a few more and show you. A lot of this, the way the angle you hold your knife at helps you cut. If you try and keep it really flat, it will keep it flat and not brush up the edges. So again, I'm going to try and, oops, I'm conscious now. I've just turned it the other way. I'm going to try and make another swag. Like that. I'm just picking these up with my craft knife. Just picked up a little bit of the dirt off my cutting mat, which needs cleaning. And then place that. So there's this little white stripe at the top of my tape. Is going all the way around. So I'm placing mine. Nice to see a few people commenting and saying hello. I can hear my voice starting to go now. That's because I was noisy at the weekend on the hen party. It was a very civilized hen party. After we had our afternoon, we went out for a nice meal. And then all the hens were staying in a little Airbnb cottage, farm cottage that had a hot tub. So that was the rest of the evening, was them in the hot tub. I didn't go in it. And it's taken me 2 days to recover because I'm not used to late night. It's not drinking as much as late night. So, as I say, I'm not going to carry on doing this all the way around because it'll be a bit boring for you watching, but you get the idea. So, as I say, I'll go back to the one I made earlier because it's got the candle in it. And I'm just going to light this candle so you can see the effect it has. I have these extra long matches for lighting tea lights because otherwise you burn your fingers. So Citronella will keep away the bugs. I don't know whether you can see because it's still daylight out here, but you can see it shines through the and lights up the washi tape, which is quite nice. So that's me. It's quite short today. I finished quite early. I'm just going to pop the camera back up so you can see me. I'm not sure about this tripod. It might have to go. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's helped make a picnic a little bit special. Not just for picnics, great for barbecues as well, obviously. We have another session. I have another session this time next week on Monday. And as I mentioned earlier, because we've got a wedding coming up, and it was 2 weeks on Saturdays, it's less than 2 weeks now. We've been very wedding obsessed. So I am going to show you some wedding favours. Not so much what goes in them, but containers for your wedding favours. So that will be this time next week. So if you've got a wedding coming up, maybe even next year, because I know from my personal experience, brides like to plan these things well in advance. Join me next week and I will show you a few little weddingy things. And thank you for watching. So this is me, Kate, saying goodbye, and I'll see you next week.